It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. I'm talking TV. I'm talking movies. I'm talking anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the E.A.R Chronicles. It's your host, Eric, and this is the place where you're going to get an earful of my thoughts and opinions on TV shows and movies that I like. I'm excited to be back to the Coven Chat. Welcome back to the Coven Chat, where I have another recap for episode 3 of Agatha All Along. And if you're like me, where's episode 4? Where is episode 4? Because it may be too soon. It may be too soon. But this Agatha All Along is turning out to be, it's up there. It's, I'm afraid to say it's WandaVision. WandaVision, make it play. But no, seriously, it's up there. Like, WandaVision is definitely my favorite project that they've put out. Disney Plus has done, right? And Agatha alone, she up there. She get up there. It's just so many things, all the things. And I'm ready to dive into this recap and give my review at the end. If you've seen this before I start, click like, click share first and foremost, and subscribe. So that I can continue making this content and putting it out there for y'all to see. If you're fans of the sci-fi, anime, cartoons, fantasy, all those things, make sure you're following, subscribing, and sharing this with your friends, aunties, uncles, and cousins, and everybody else. But without further ado, episode 3, Through Many Miles of Tricks and Trials. And I love these titles. Have y'all admitted these titles are eating and they're directly correlated to what's going on in the show. I miss when titles of TV shows have a direct correlation and a meaning to what's going on in the show. So I appreciate that little detail. So the first thing we do, we left off when they finally made it to the road. They took off their little shoes and they walk in ready to walk the road. So Mrs. Hart, bless her heart, she's like, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I've been kidnapped. Y'all had taken me against my will and brought me to God knows where. This creepy, spooky, all of the things. Okay, why y'all got me here? I don't want to be here. Take me back. And they look at her like, girl, you here now? You might as well make the most of it. Some of them, because I know a few, like Jennifer, was kind of like, "Why are you here? You ain't got no magic. You ain't a witch. You need to go home. Why don't we even bring her?" And then something is chasing us. Well, chasing Agatha, and now it's chasing us, and it's a us problem now. So once again, Agatha's problems have become everybody's problems. And so, as they're walking down the road, they're like, "So what are we need to be expecting?" And Wanda, goodness gracious, Alice is telling them, "What there are going to be trials." And they looking at her like, "How you know what it's going to be?" And she's like, "It's the ballot. It's the ballot. Learn for the ballot." And then they all look to Agatha, and she tells them that there will be trials. Each trial will test their knowledge of the craft, and each skill of the craft. And they're all like, "We ain't got no magic, we ain't got no powers. How we supposed to survive?" And teen, we can do analog magic. Pretty much without the sparkly stuff, the colorful stuff. We're gonna do it the old fashioned craft. Do the DIY craft is what they're gonna be doing in order to pass these trials. So I thought that was a really cool aspect to know that there will be a trial to test the knowledge of each individual which they have in the coven. That's why they needed one of every kind. Kind of like Noah's Ark when they needed two of a kind to go onto the ark. They needed one of a kind. They needed a potion switch. They needed a divination witch. They needed a protection witch. They needed a green witch. I don't quite know what Agatha covers, but they needed all the rest of them in order to be able to successfully walk the road and get to the end, which she dutifully reminds them, you want to get unbound, right, Jennifer? You want to reverse your fortune, huh, Lilia? You want to know what happened to your mama, huh, Alice? And you, Miss where's her go? Lord, Sharon then took off somewhere, then got lost, then got off the road, then sat herself down in the mud. And the mud started, it's like quicksand, quick mud. And they start pulling her bag down. And she's like, no, that's from Thomas. You can't have that. And she's reaching, trying to get her bag, and the ground starts pulling her, and she starts, help, help. She starts screaming. And so they run and rush to her aid and whatnot. They pull her off, and that's when Agatha tells us the number one rule: do not walk off the road. And Teen reminds them of the portion of the song, Straight Out from That Path. So I love that tie-in. Like, listen, Teen, one thing about it, when he said he studied, he meant that thing. He studied for real. Look, the Bible says study to show thyself approved. And I know he ain't studied the Bible, but he studied. He's well studied. So shout out to him. Then they get to walk on the road, and this fancy house appears. And they go up to the house, and they see the phases of the moon on the door. And Teen, once again, come on, knowledge. He's like, oh, phases of the moon. And then he says it's in this water phase. It's a full moon. It's in this water phase. I think Lilia might have said that. She said something about the phases of the moon. And he mentioned it being a full moon and that water phase. And that got me thinking, for those who've seen the episode, later on, when the house is underwater, I'm like, everything connects. Everything connects. And so they walk in the house, and they get a new wardrobe, they get new hair. And for me, everybody's saying Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but I've seen Desperate Housewives. For me, it's like Vineyard Vines type vibe, you know, Martha's Vineyard, really upper West Side, East Coast feel, cozy, chic, and very rich. It's tennis court, it's what you call it, the country club vibe. That's what it is. That's exact. It's giving yacht. That's the style. Chic yacht, East Coast, upper end, Martha's Vineyard, Desperate Housewives vibes. But they look great. Jennifer got her little sewing piece. Catherine or Agatha, her hair is blowed out, nicely done. Everybody looks great. Everybody looks great. And so they get in there. Agatha, the main thing she did, I thought was really important, she starts to feel for her chest. And we realized that she's making sure her locket was there. So when the clothes changed, she's like, hold on. Okay, my locket is there. So we know that locket must still be that little reminder about her son. I think that was her son's hair in that locket. I think I mentioned that in the last recap. But whatever it is, it's super important to her because she wanted to make sure it was still there. Then they realized Alice was like, hold on. She's looking for the doors and window handle. We locked it here. They locked, trapped, stuck. Can't go nowhere. And here go Miss Hart. Bury me in the kitchen, in that kitchen. Foreshadowing. Then they pick up a card, a really nice piece of cardstock, which tells them, welcome to trial 1 of the Witch's Road. And they read a riddle. That's on the back of it. And the riddle reads as follows. My age has value. My age has no value. I'm no fun alone. I'm going to pull it up over here because I want to make sure I get all of this right. My age has no value. I'm no fun alone. I mess with your mind. My tricks are well known. What am I? And I guessed it immediately. I would have asked. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this had nothing to do with the overall. I thought it did. Had nothing to do with the overall trial, but I was like, wine, wine, wine. It's a wine. Pick me, choose me. It's a wine. It's a wine. And here go Miss Hart. Well, because the rest of them like, what does that even mean? Like, how are we supposed to figure it out? And here she goes, wine. Alice, 10 points for Miss Hart. Because none of them was apparently going to get it. So they lucky that wasn't the trial because failed, gone, dead, did not complete. Y'all out of here. And so they grab the wine sheet and they start pouring the wine. They get their little glasses, right? They start pouring their glasses of wine. And Miss Hart just take a big old juicy gulp. She whoop, 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 whoop. And she said, don't judge me. I had a long day. Long day. And I can't blame her. Can you blame her? No, we can't blame her. We can't blame her. And so Agatha urges the other ladies, y'all drink up. Yes, get y'all some wine. Let's relax. Let's, let our hair down. But I see that, she poured her a big old glass too, but I didn't see her itching to drink it like everybody else is. Agatha, what are you up to? What are you up to? I'm like looking at her sideways. I'm like, something ain't right. People have speculated. I've read tweets and things. And many people have speculated that Agatha actually has never walked the road. Because, Teen mentions that she walked the road in episode 2. And then she was like, well, I'm exceptional. That's how I did it. People are speculating that she didn't actually walk the road and that she's only heard things, right? And she's playing it by ear, which is why she's so kind of nervous, a little antsy, a little bit when different things arise. But I don't know. Maybe she do know because she had a little bit of foresight to know not to drink the wine because she was forcing them to do it because later on she poured hers out. So she knew something was up with that wine. And so once everybody goes sit down in the living room, they're trading stories. Jennifer they go look for a corkscrew, actually. I think it was the corkscrew to open up the wine. But Jennifer has a conversation with Teen. This is one of the more important conversations that happened in this episode. She pulls him aside and she's like, be careful with Agatha. Like, I know you like her and you trust her, but just, she ain't too nice of a woman for you to be putting out trust in. He's like, I get it. I know what everybody's saying about her. But did you know that she traded her son for the Book of the Damned, the Darkhold? And he's like, no. Are we sure she did that? She's like, no, that's what they say. That's what the people say. And they say he just went missing and no one's been able to see him since. And she's like, he could be a demon. He could be dead. He could be a demon. Or, which this part lit the fandom ablaze. Like, everybody lost their minds. They finally did it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She said, or he could be an agent of Mephisto. Ooh. The name, they said it. They said his name. People had been asking and speculating and theorizing and hypothesizing and dreaming and fantasizing about Mephisto. They thought he was going to be the big bad in WandaVision. I low-key may have thought that too. I don't know. And they thought Agatha All Along, which is road, more magic, gots to do with Mephisto. Gots to be him. He got to be involved somehow. And we finally got a name drop. I think it's highly off base. I don't think he's going to show up. I don't think he's going to have any part in this. But they dropped his name. And so I thought that was really cool. Really great conversation between them two. For them to add that little piece in there, because she also mentioned, she was like, I don't think Agatha would recognize him if he showed up on her doorstep. And they really panned that camera to Teen. And I think it's just a bait and switch. They're trying to get a red herring, if you will, get us to start believing, oh, maybe he's not Billy, because, everybody's speculating he's Billy / Wiccan. Oh my gosh, could this be Nicholas Scratch? Could this be Agatha's son? And in that moment, I might have believed it. Jennifer said it with the way she said it and the way the camera angle hit it. I might have believed it too. But y'all know what spoilers out there. I ain't gonna put them out here about his true nature and who he really is and who's right and who's wrong. So I know who he is. Well, we all know a version of who he is. So we'll see when it all comes out. But Funko Pop, that's all I can say. Why would you do that? Come on, y'all. Where's your media training? Funko Pop. Yeah, send this to them. So then, everybody's, they sitting down, they share their little stories about, and Teen is not allowed to drink. Oh, before they shared the stories, Teen wasn't allowed to drink, right? They decided that, well, Agatha was like, oh, sure. And everybody's like, no, you can't drink. Because you're underage, boy. You can't be trying to sip. You know better. You can't do that. So that goes on. And then once they take everything down, they sitting down, sharing their little stories. Agatha pours out her drink. And when she walks away, the cup magically refills. So that's how you know something about that wine wasn't right. There's a saying, we say something in milk ain't clean, something in the wine glass. Something ain't right about it. And after they poured the glass and they drinking to their heart's content, Teen and Alice have a combo, and he notices that she has like a protection tattoo, and she explains that her mom gave it to her. It was at a concert that she was at before she disappeared. And she disappeared when she was 13, which another crucial piece of information, I think, or scene was when Teen, he was like, oh yeah, you were 13? Yeah, I've been through a lot when I was 13 too. Because we know 3 years ago, 3 years is the same amount of time Agatha was under Wanda's distorted spell. 3 years ago, something happened with Teen, is what we're assuming, because it's been 3 years. It's all connected. It's all connected. We'll figure it out. They'll let us know. So I thought that was really important. He was like, yeah, been through a lot too. Something happened to me when I was 13. So, yeah, excuse me. Because I promise you, I do not be tired. But as soon as I get on the screen, here come the yawning. Where you come from? Why are we yawning? We're not even tired. We're up all the time. This is ridiculous. So my apologies. It's probably because I always record these late. But I have to, because I be trying to get my work and stuff done. Y'all got a life out here. I don't make money from YouTube yet. Until I hit 500,000. Until I hit a certain amount of subscribers, I don't make no money from this. I just do this for fun because I enjoy it. So bear with the yawning, okay? Until we can start getting that revenue pouring in, and I can do these earlier in the day, and not so much my day job. Then we can talk about it. But until then, y'all gonna get these yawns because I can't help them. I'll be trying to hold them back, but they come of their own free will. And so they have that conversation, and then Lilia brings up the mischaracterization of witches because she was like, you know what? I blame, because Mrs. Hart was like, okay, so a witch is just another word for a bad girl. And Lily was like, I blame Halloween because do you see us with hats, pointy hats, green skin, boils all over our face, broomsticks, black cats, cauldrons? Do you see any of that? No. Halloween got us messed up out here in these streets, got people thinking we eating babies and boiling rats and stuff. And something might be because Agatha didn't sacrifice a child, but hey, who am I? Who am I to judge? Y'all do y'all. But just know there's a little bit of truth sprinkled in there, okay? And so after that, Mrs. Hart gets up and she's like, whatever, I can drink the blood of a virgin if it meant keeping these wrinkles off. Then her face blows up. And she turns back around and, you know that Nene Leaks meme? Just like that. Her face is blowed up, y'all. I mean, it looked just like, what's his name? Chainsaw, Jigsaw puzzle. Big old face, cheeks like that. I mean, huge. Blowed up. Lips all like somebody got bad Botox. And it just stuck it in her face. It was Miss Hart face at first. Then all their faces started puffering up. And they realized that they've been poisoned. And Agatha, she was over by the door trying to figure out a way to get out. And they're like, Agatha, what's going on? And she tried to cover her face up. Catherine Hahn's acting, the timing of everything, brilliant. Brilliant. I was cracking up throughout this whole episode. I wish I could just watch it with y'all and live react to it because I was cracking up. She tried to put her little hair in front of her face to hide that her face wasn't swollen like everybody else's. Oh, man. And then Jennifer, being the potions witch that she is, she was like, we've been poisoned, but we need to figure out what we've been poisoned with. And so she starts, asking Miss Hart some questions. Sharon, that's what she would like to be referred as. Sharon starts kind of describing the things to her. And she's like, what in the world could this be? We're poisoned. What is it that we're poisoned with? And then their faces unswell. And she's like, there's only one poison that this could be if the swelling goes down that quickly. Alawife's revenge? Well, Alafife's wife's revenge? Whatever that stuff is. Aleph wife's. That's what I put. Alice wife. Somebody's wife. Somebody's wife revenge is the poison in which they've been poisoned. And then we figured out that Agatha did not drink because she over trying to break out. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? She got a little thing. She's trying to get out. And they're like, you cannot cheat the road, Agatha. This is probably why they thought that people out here think she ain't never walked it. Because, girl, you can't cheat the road. And she's like, I can try. I'm going to try. And so he was like, no, you're going to drink this. Drink the wine. And she was like, no, I won't. And she threw the glass. And it shatters. And she's like, see, it's no more wine. So I can't. Guess I'm good. And Alice picks up another wine glass. And of course, it magically refills. And they looking at her like, now what you got to say? And then Teen was like, you drink it or I will. And then she's like, no, you don't. I'll do it. So she drinks it. Very reluctantly, but she does drink it. And Jen starts to give us like kind of what is the side effects are gonna be, because after Agatha drinks it, there's a timer that sets off. And it starts counting out from 30 minutes. And I'm like, huh? What is going on? You know that the clip from New York, Tiffany, New York. Did you know you have 30 minutes? Do you know you have 30 minutes? Y'all have 30 minutes to figure something out, to come up with a antidote, because you're dying. Because after the face blowing up, the delirium, the dizziness, there are hallucinations and then death. Yeah. So y'all might want to get to cooking. And so they all start going. Jennifer lists off all these different ingredients that they need. They need petroleum. They need something from an insect, social insect, which is just honey. All these different weird, crazy terms that they need for everyday things. All right. So they go off looking for those things throughout the house. And after that, in the midst of, we have Lilia. She went with Agatha and they pull out. She said, of course, Jen's skincare line made it to the witch's road. And so it's supposed to be all natural. But Agatha was like, I know a snake oil salesman when I see one. So she's pretty much said that her stuff was not all natural. And in the middle of that, Lily was like, try to save Agatha. So she had one of her little moments, right? And so we know something's going to happen later on where try to save Agatha comes up. Because if we pay attention, remember from episode 1, episode 2, sorry, when Lilia first had one of those visions, which was like, get off me. And before they sang the song, that happened when they got to the road with Miss Hart. And she's like, get off me, or something like that. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it, everything's connected. But one other important thing that I forgot to mention. After they drank, after Wanda, I want to call this woman Wanda so bad. After Agatha drank, Sharon started hallucinating. And she was like, Wanda, that's why I say Wanda, please, let him breathe. Wanda, please. And she passes out. And if we again, I told you everything's connected to WandaVision. If we go back to WandaVision, her, Mrs. Hart, Sharon, and her husband were eating dinner with Wanda and Vision, and he started to choke. And all she could do was say, stop it. She she was originally telling her husband stop because she thought he was playing. But we now know that when she kind of was looking at Wanda, stop it, stop it. She was telling Wanda to stop choking him because he didn't. There was no food for him to be choking on. Wanda was choking him. Wanda killed her husband, choked the life out of him in front of her, literally, because we saw it from the lens of the spell. But we all know once the spell is lifted, everything is actually happening in reality. So if we remember, the citizens of Westview, they were under her control, but they were very much present, right? They had their minds were on. They just couldn't do anything. They were like in their bodies with no control. They were sentient in a sense, but under her control. And so they would, in their minds, they're literally pleading with her, but they can only say and do what she tells them to. So it was sad. It was a sad callback because that was her last words. It was, Wanda, please, please let him breathe, after she passed it out. And then going back, fast forward back to them searching for the ingredients, everybody starts to see their hallucinations. We get Alice, who her and Teen went to go get some they went to eucalyptus and frankincense or something like that. And she sees her mom, which her mom's like, your grandmother passed away, died. And this coming for me is going to kill me too. And she's shouting, Mom, Mom. So she sees that and her mom starts screaming at her. And she falls out and runs out of the bath house, or not a bathhouse. It's a sauna room. Sauna room. There you go. She runs out of there, and Teen grabs her. Jennifer sees the doctor. He grabs her and is drowning her. And I'm assuming, and we're all assuming, that's the doctor who took her powers and bound her powers. So she saw him, and then we have Lily. I don't know what she saw. She saw some little girl, and she followed the girl to this room. We was sitting down. The girl became like this old, decrepit looking woman. And then this creepy looking evil nun type creature was behind the older, decrepit looking girl. I don't know what this. I was straight out of a haunted film, like some haunting on Hill House or whatever, one of them little conjurings. That's what hers looked like. And that's what they all saw. But then they all get themselves together. They get back to the kitchen with the ingredients. And Jen starts telling them it needs to be added. They all need to be added in a certain order. So they start doing it. They putting things in there. They dropping the ingredients in there. And she mentions that it has to turn cerulean. And they were like, wait, Alice says, is cerulean the green one or blue? Because I get them, it's cerulean and chartreuse mixed up. First of all, chartreuse sound like it should be purple or something. I don't know. But it's not. And they're huddled around it. The water something is wrong, right? And they're like, Jen, what is it? And she's like, no. I can't die like this. There was once upon a time that with a wave of my hand that I could have just solved all this. But now I don't want to die like this. This can't be the end. We're gonna die. I don't want to do this. And Agatha grabs her. Really powerful piece. I love this part. And she's like, listen, I've always hated you, but I've respected you. You were doing the real work, not this kill care crap. You were doing the real work, and that's why I left you alone all these years. But you can be that witch again. They can steal your powers. They can take your power, Jen, but they can't take your knowledge. What do we need, Jen? And she's like, blood. From who and how much? Agatha, I can't stand it. From the one who wasn't poisoned, the blood of the unpoisoned, which clearly Teen. So you're like, oh, thank you for being underage. She takes a nice slice of his hand, drops the blood in there. They need everyone's hair. And before then, very crucial part, mind you, before they all put their hair in there, Agatha's hallucination came, and she saw a stroller, which assuming that's her son. So she goes over to the stroller, there's a baby crying, and she takes back the cover, and it's a dark hole in there. So she gets scared. But listen, the emotion, the authenticity, it felt so visceral. I felt her emotion in that moment. Like, I don't think I've seen in Marvel that amount of emotion in a minute. Like that level, Catherine Hahn, chef's kiss. Beautifully done. Like, you did that, sis. You ate that scene. So that was her hallucination, and she tried to act like it was, oh, nothing. All right, well, get over here if it was nothing. Put this hair in this little bowl in this sink so we can go. And I thought another funny part was when she got the spoon. Jennifer got the spoon and gave it to Teen and told him to stir the mixture. She said, "Do it counterclockwise," and he just kind of stood there. And she's like, "Backwards to the left." Like, come on, get it together. Like, why do I gotta explain everything to y'all? Because even when she was telling them some of the ingredients, they're like, "What is that?" She's like, why do I have to explain? Y'all must be bitches. Why am I explaining this in layman's terms for y'all? Y'all should know these things. And so they finally get the potion done. They get the blend in there. It turns to Ruvian. They dip it in there. They drink it, the nasty poison. So they're safe. And they're like, "Oh, Miss Art, Sharon, we got to hurry up and get her. Grab her." They go shove it down her throat. The timer goes off. And the water starts to come in. The glass starts to break. Right? The oven door opens, first of all. The oven door opens, and they're like, "I'm not getting in there." Lilia was like, "I had a friend who had a house with an oven just like this," and which we all know to be Hansel and Gretel. We know what happened to that witch in Hansel and Gretel. And she's like, "I'm not getting in there." The water pressure, because they're underwater. Remember, I told you that phases of the moon, full moon, water phase that Teen mentioned earlier. Somehow they're underwater, y'all, and it started to crack and it's busting in. And the water starts rushing in all in them. And they're like, "Well, we ain't got a choice." Jennifer beelines from the wall, knocks Lily out, which reminded me of the scene in White Chicks when he has to go to the bathroom, boom, boom, and knock the girl out to get to the toilet. That's exactly what Jennifer did. She knocked Lily out the way to dive through to the oven. And so she gets in there, and then Lillian follows her, and then they push Mrs. Hart down in there. Teen gets in there, then Agatha, then Alice, and they all slide on down in there. The oven door shuts, and they find themselves back on the road. And I love how they sliding down. They keep just knocking into each other as they falling down, sliding down, right? And then Agatha gets up, and she knocks him out to the side. As she's getting up and she pushing him, and then Jennifer, she pushes her, but then she kicks her again. Kicks her right back there. So petty. Again, Agatha, how can you not love her? You have to love her. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was hilarious. But all is not well because they were like, Lily said, we all survived. So that's what's important. And then we're like, hold on, not everybody survived. Sharon died. Thank God I told y'all from the first recap. If it's Sharon, if this Art don't make it, God knows something. Y'all have to answer for your crimes. This Art was innocent. Sharon was innocent. And so Teen says Sharon died. She's dead. And here goes I can't even be sad too long because she's talking about something. Who's Sharon? And they all look at her like, girl, be for real. And then scene cuts. And that's the recap for episode 3. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me for 30 freaking plus minutes on this recap. I appreciate it. That's all I got. But y'all, I will give this episode 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious at so many different points in time. I thought it was really well thought out. I love the connection to WandaVision. The show's been doing it, but I really think that it did so many good callbacks and drawing the dots, connecting the dots to WandaVision and the importance of what WandaVision. It's gonna be WandaVision from here on out. WandaVision had the impact that it had, and that it's still just flowing seamlessly. And it's so seamless, and I love that everything is connecting so seamlessly. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel contrite. It just feels right. Oh, bars. But y'all, I won't hold you any longer. I just appreciate you for sticking out, EARHustlers, sticking out with your boy. Again, if you made it this far, don't forget to click like, click share, and of course, subscribe so I can continue bringing you this content, and turn on those notifications so you never miss when I got an episode coming or making an announcement. And I will be back for episode 4, which according to the leaked previews and pictures of the preview, or of what the new episode is going to be, it's looking like we're going to be in the protection trial next, which means, Alice, my girl, it's your time to shine. And so, very much looking forward to that, and cannot wait to see what episode 4 of Agatha All Along has in store. So, Coven Chat, we out of here. Yeah, it's the show. Brilliantly done.